Hello, buddy. Welcome back to the Tin Man Score channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'm finishing off my Creepy Diaries marathon for you guys. And the first video I'm reacting to is three disturbing trucker horror stories, the nightmare stories truckers won't tell you. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights off, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road in the bag, shall we? Okay, here we go.
Driving the long, lonely highways from Los Angeles to Las Vegas has always been my way of life.
Right.
I've hauled just about everything you can imagine in my rig, but that night was different. It started with an urgent phone call. "David, can you do me a huge favor?" It was my dispatcher, Greg. "We've got a last-minute package that needs to go out tonight. Can you take it?" "What's the rush?" I asked, glancing at my already full manifest. "The sender says it's extremely urgent, but he wouldn't explain why. Just get it there, okay?" I hesitated. "What's in the package?" Greg paused. He wouldn't say. "Just get it done, David. Please." I agreed, more out of obligation than curiosity. A small, unmarked box was shoved into the back of my cab before I could even inspect it. As I pulled out of the loading dock, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Why the secrecy? The miles rolled by, and the night grew darker.
Yeah, I would like to know too. Why does this package need to be in a rush unless it was like paid for overnight shipping? I mean, I can understand that, but if it's your boss telling you to hurry up and get it out of here quick, something's really sketchy, and your boss don't want to open it up because he probably thinks it's none of his business, then I'm going to sneak a peek. And if it's nothing, close it back up real quick. But if it's something criminally related, oh, I'm definitely pulling over, calling the cops, and let them look at it, just see what they could do. And let my boss know that you handed me criminal evidence or something. But I don't know if that's going to be the case here, so let's just continue on and see what happens next, shall we?
About an hour into the trip, I heard it. A faint, rhythmic tapping coming from the package. What could it be? A pet? No, it was too quiet for that. A machine? But why hide a machine? My mind raced with possibilities. Is there something alive in there? I wondered aloud. As the tapping continued, my anxiety grew. I needed to know what I was transporting. Was it dangerous? Could it get me in trouble? I pulled into a rest stop, the eerie glow of the neon lights casting long shadows across the empty lot. I parked in the furthest corner, away from prying eyes. With trembling hands, I opened the back of my cab and approached the box. The tapping had stopped. What am I doing? I questioned myself, my heart pounding in my chest. Slowly, I pried open the box. Inside, to my horror, I found bundles of cash wrapped in plastic, several small firearms, and a bag filled with what looked like white powder. My stomach churned. This was bad. Really bad.
Yeah, that sounds bad. I knew it had to be something that was in a mix-up with criminals. I mean, who else would ship a bunch of cash, guns, and drugs overnight? Call the cops right now before the people looking for that package comes out looking for you.
Drugs and guns? What have I gotten myself into? I muttered, fear gripping me. Panicking, I closed the box and locked my cab. I needed to call the authorities. I dialed 911, my hands shaking so badly I could barely press the buttons. 911, what's your emergency? This is David, a truck driver. I found something illegal in my truck. Guns, drugs, and money. I'm at the rest stop on I-15, just past Barstow. Stay where you are, David. We're sending officers to your location. The wait felt like an eternity. Every sound made me jump. What if someone was watching me? What if they knew I'd discovered their secret? When the police finally arrived, they moved quickly, securing the area and examining the package. An officer approached me, his expression serious but grateful. Thank you for your honesty, David. You did the right thing. What's going to happen now? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. We'll take it from here. You'll need to come with us to make a statement, but you're not in any trouble. You helped us stop something very dangerous tonight. Relief washed over me, but the fear lingered. The drive to the police station was a blur. I gave my statement and was finally allowed to leave. As I climbed back into my cab, the emptiness of the highway felt different, more sinister. Can I ever trust another package again? I wondered, the events replaying in my mind. The experience changed me. No more blind trust. No more last-minute favors. Every delivery now comes with a question, a doubt. And every night, the tapping echoes in my memory, a reminder of the night I nearly became an unwitting criminal.
You know, I wonder what his boss would have said if he found out that he called the cops about that package. Would he be grateful, or would he be mad because he might have been in on this whole situation? Who knows? But thankfully he did the right thing and turned all that evidence over to the authorities, made a statement, and got back on the road. And now if he gets a package handed to him that's like late night delivery, he's got to be questioning it now, because I know he don't want to get up in another situation like this ever again. But you know, he said he kept hearing tapping. I thought, oh crap, are they shipping a person? But nope, it was the guns moving around, hitting the crate. So let's get to story number 2, shall we?
Driving from Miami to Atlanta, my car broke down on a remote stretch of highway. It was dark, and the road was deserted. I could barely see the flickering lights of my dying battery. Panic set in. What was I going to do? As I stood by my car, trying to get a signal on my phone, a truck approached. It slowed down, and the driver leaned out the window. "Need a hand?" he asked, his face hidden in the shadows of his cab. Relief washed over me. "Yes, please. My car just died, and I need to get to the nearest gas station." "Hop in. I can take you there," he said, opening the passenger door. I hesitated for a moment, but then climbed in. What choice did I have? The man seemed friendly enough, and I didn't want to be stranded all night. As we drove, I tried to make small talk. "So, how far is the gas station?" "Not too far," he replied, glancing at me with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes.
Okay, that would be a dangerous situation for anybody to be in. Your car breaks down, and you're trying to call for help, and you can't get no service. What are you going to do, right? But then if another car or trucker like this guy shows up and asks if you need help, and you jump in their truck to go with them, sometimes they'll be nice people and drop you off where you're going, or they'll just probably end up kidnapping you. You always got to be careful and look after the warning signs that if they're not that very talkative, they're just trying to keep their eyes on the road and take you as far away from your car as possible.
After a few miles, I noticed something strange. We were heading in the opposite direction from where he said the gas station was. "Are we going the right way?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Just a shortcut," he said, his smile growing wider. "Don't worry about it." My heart began to race. Something wasn't right. Why would he take a shortcut on a straight highway? "Can you let me out? I think I'll just call for a tow truck," I said, reaching for the door handle. He flipped a switch, and the doors locked with a loud click. "What's going on?" I demanded, my voice trembling. "You're not going anywhere," he said, his tone menacing. Panic surged through me. I fumbled for my phone and dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency?" "I'm in a truck with a driver who won't let me out. He's driving the wrong way, and I'm scared," I whispered, trying to keep my voice low. "Stay calm. Where are you?" "I'm on a highway, somewhere between Miami and Atlanta." "I don't know exactly where," I replied, my voice shaking. "Keep the line open. We're tracking your location. Can you see any landmarks or signs?" I looked out the window, but it was too dark to see anything. "No, it's too dark," I said, my fear growing with each passing second. "Stay on the line. Help is on the way," the dispatcher assured me. The trucker glanced at me and saw the phone in my hand. "Who are you talking to?" he demanded, reaching for the phone. I pulled away, pressing myself against the door. "The police. They're coming for me," I said, trying to sound braver than I felt. His eyes narrowed and he sped up, the truck roaring down the highway. Minutes felt like hours as I waited for the police to arrive. Every second was filled with terror. Would they find me in time? Suddenly, flashing lights appeared in the distance. The trucker cursed under his breath and tried to outrun them, but the police closed in quickly. "Pull over!" a voice boomed from a loudspeaker. The trucker had no choice. He slowed down and came to a stop. The police surrounded the truck, guns drawn. "Step out of the vehicle," they ordered. The trucker unlocked the doors and I scrambled out, shaking with fear. The police quickly apprehended him, and an officer led me to safety. "You're safe now," he said, his voice calming. "We've got him." I was grateful but traumatized. As I sat in the back of the police car, I couldn't stop shaking. Why did he do this? What was his plan? I asked, more to myself than to anyone else. "We'll find out," the officer replied. "But you did the right thing by calling us."
You got that right. You did the right thing for calling them. Because if you didn't, he would have not let you out of the truck until he got to the destination he wanted to go. He might have been trafficking people. You never know. But thankfully, the cops reached up quick enough to his truck and got him to pull over. And I was surprised that this dude was able to make sure that this guy did not grab his phone, because he probably would have grabbed it and thrown it out the window, and then the cops would have had a hard time finding him. But luckily, he stood his ground and told him who he had on the phone, but he knew he was going to be saved.
Experience left me wary of strangers and more cautious on the road. Every time I see a truck now, I can't help but remember that night, and the fear comes rushing back. But I'm grateful to be alive, and I know I'll never take my safety for granted again.
You got that right, because how can you trust a trucker again? I mean, I know there's a bunch of good ones out there, but sometimes you might have some sick individuals that are driving semi-trucks, and they might end up pulling over just to act like they want to help you in a situation, but then end up kidnapping you. And now this person knows what warning signs to look for if he comes into a situation like that again.
It was a routine stop at a roadside diner, far from anywhere. I'd been driving all day and needed a break. The diner was nearly empty, just a few regulars and a couple of other truckers. One of them, a guy I hadn't seen before, joined me at my booth. We talked about the usual trucker stuff, routes, weather, and work, but then he started telling strange stories. He mentioned the disappearances on Highway 83. 2 people went missing there last month, and the cops never found them. The way he talked about it, it seemed like he knew a lot.
Yeah, I'll be spooked out of my mind, because if he knows a whole lot about these disappearances, he might be the guy causing people to disappear. I'll act like I gotta go because my boss wants me to deliver something at a specific time, and then call the cops and tell them that you might have a lead for those disappearances.
"You know," he said, "sometimes it's not the road that's dangerous. Sometimes it's the people." His words made me uneasy. I tried to laugh it off, but he kept going. "People trust you out here," he said. "They let their guard down." My heart was pounding. I needed to get out of this conversation. I excused myself, saying I needed the restroom. In there, I splashed water on my face, trying to calm down. I knew I had to tell someone. When I came back, I caught the eye of the waitress. I whispered to her, "Call the police. That guy, something's wrong with him." She looked scared, but nodded. I returned to my booth, my mind racing. The trucker was still there, looking normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling of dread. Then, sirens filled the air. The diner doors burst open, and police officers rushed in. "Hands where we can see them," they shouted. The trucker's face twisted in shock and anger as they handcuffed him. "You had no right," he yelled at me. The officers led him away, and I collapsed back in my seat, my heart still racing. One of the officers came over and said, You did good. He's wanted for questioning in several cases. I nodded, too shaken to speak. Leaving the diner, the night felt darker and the road lonelier. The encounter haunted me. A casual conversation had turned into a brush with a potential killer. I knew I'd never forget his chilling words or the look in his eyes. From that night on, I was more cautious. Every trucker I met, every stranger I spoke to, made me uneasy. Now I understood. Sometimes the most dangerous thing on the road isn't the journey, but the people you meet along the way.
You got that right. You never know who you meet up with while traveling. And that guy said you had no right to do that. Well, you shouldn't have told him about all those disappearances that made him worry. But thankfully, he did the right thing and told the waitress to call the police. And they got that guy. But let that be a lesson to you all. If you go traveling and you stop to chat with somebody, be aware of your surroundings and listen to what he or she says. Because you never know, that person might be wanted. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more Creepy Diaries content like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man Score channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and that's a wrap, and that's day off.